I wake up at 4:45 in the a.m. every morning. That's about 12 hours before most niggas wake up. I wake up at 4:45 in the a.m. every morning. That's about 12 hours before most niggas wake up. I am a very spiritual person. I start each day by thanking the white man for the sunrise, for the land I walk on, for the air I breathe. I also apologize for niggas, but Lord knows they ain't gonna apologize for themselves. I am not black, nor do I consider myself to be black. Many people mistake me for being Negro because they don't know that I am currently living with the heartbreak of revitiligo. That's a skin condition that's the opposite of what Michael Jackson's got. Every morning I apply this topical ointment made of bleach and sulfur. I like to think it works. Luckily, I hadn't gotten much darker in the last few years. As you can see here, I enjoy building small shrines to certain special white people who are important in my life. This one here is dedicated to John Wayne, great white man. Didn't take no shit from niggers, Indians, nor Mexicans. And this one here is for George Bush the First. Loved him. Now this one here is dedicated to the most soulful soul singer to ever live. Yeah, I work about 32 jobs over the course of a week. I think it's interesting I got 32 jobs and most niggas say they can't find one. Niggas.
Welcome everybody. This is a continuation from my last show. I had to cut it short. So basically I'm gonna knock this out just to put the cherry on top of this cake of pretty much the dishonesty of Pan-Republican Strikes Back and Afro-Think Tank. So if you missed the first video, it's basically the same title. It just doesn't say continued. So that was my last video. So if you missed that one, please go do look at that. So just to bring everything to a conclusion here, basically, let me recap. It was just basically our brother Afro-Think Tank pretty much given a very, very honest assessment of what the Democrats are and what the Republicans are. And basically, from an early conversation, basically saying that you can't be Pan-African and be a Republican or Democrat for that matter. But he was more focusing on the Republican part due to an earlier conversation that I guess he was having somewhere else. So, I mean, I am aware there are Pan-Africans that are Republicans, which again, like I said before, and I still say it now, and I'm sticking by it, it is an oxymoron. Either they're just coons and they don't know it, or they really don't understand the terms of what American conservatism is, because we are living in the United States, and no matter where you live, if your political view is the conservatism of that state body politic, then you agree with everything there. So if I was in, let's say for argument's sake, like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, or a theocracy, a Muslim theocracy, I will believe that, hey, women are second, third, rate citizens. I believe in a fashion police. Showing too much ankle. Okay, that is not haram. That is not good, my friend. She is showing ankle. So I will believe in all that crazy stuff because that is the conservative. Now, the liberal portion of that is like, well, you know what? I think women should drive. That would be the liberal in Saudi Arabia or that particular type of theocracy. Or you know what? I don't see nothing wrong with a woman wearing jeans. Here, even here, I see it like not all the time, but 3, 4, 5 times too many. It will be I don't know what country they're from, but they're Muslim, and let's say it will be like a man and a woman, or a man and a woman with a child by herself. They would get in the car. So let's say it's a man, a child, and a woman, right? I see the mother. The kid's not like a baby or infant or anything like that. Kid might need like a booster seat or something like that. The man would get in the driver's seat. He will drive. The woman will go in, make sure, buckle the child's safety belt and sit in the back. And they drive off. I'm like, why is he sitting in the back? And in the beginning, I just see this to be like, well, maybe, the child, probably wants to be next to her mom and stuff like that. But it happens too often with or without the child. Sometimes she just sits in the back. It's not like a Uber or a Lyft or something like that, where you're not going to sit up all in front of where your Uber driver is, whatever. So I get that, but no, they're coming. They're together. They're not strangers, and they'll get in the car, and her place is the back. So when we talk about conservatism, this is just, like I said, just a recap. This is what we're talking about. So when you have Black people that say that I'm not a liberal, I'm not a progressive, or anything like that, and live in the United States, they're just saying that they want the white way of life, the white way of living, right? And that's what it is by definition. It's not my definition. If you follow me or on this channel, I have plenty of I broke that down many times. So just go to Webster Dictionary yourself and you'll see the definition. So let's pick back up where I left off, right? So Afro-Think Tank, again, Brandon was critiquing Afro think tank, what he said, and he agreed with 1,000,000,000% of everything that he said when it came to the Democratic side, and he took umbrance against his own brother when it came to the Republican side, and he was shucking and jiving, making excuses, towing the line, saying give a little soft shoe just for massa, that's what he was doing. So I'm gonna start where I left off, and I'm gonna play, because Brandon got caught up in his feelings and he didn't play the whole entirety of what Afro Think Tank was saying. So I'm gonna play the entirety of what he was saying, so we could have a complete understanding that yes, these two brothers are self-acclaimed Pan-Africanists, but one is clearly a true red, black, and green Pan-Africanist, and another one is an American Confederate Republican, orange. I love Donald Trump no matter what. In the Republican Party, protect the tribe, protect the political party. Republican, so-called fake Pan-African, not so-called, definitely a fake Pan-African in that regard. So let's play the remainder of Afro Think Tank of pretty much what the brother was saying.
That party, white American conservatives, are about conserving white supremacy, white culture, white power. They want to eliminate us. All those shootings that's been happening where Black people just having to knock on the wrong door, Black people just having to walk down the main street and get shot by somebody, those are conservative Republicans shooting us because they're watching Fox News, who gaslight conservatives to make them afraid of Black people. That's a fact.
And he's absolutely right. That's the fact. We recap that. That's where Brandon stopped it, and he started talking about what happens in California, and Black people shoot California, again, with the Republican mindset that because remember, once you're a black Republican, you're not supposed to have no self-integrity, no self-respect for yourself when it comes to politics. So you definitely have to deflect to something else where you have no win, especially if you're in a spotlight, right? So, and that's very true. So Afro Think Tank is talking about, the boy that rang the doorbell, and Ralph Yarl, and where the white supremacists tried to kill him, right? No excuse for that, whatever. But I want to show you that even though this is inexcusable, Brandon will still try to backpedal on the side of white supremacy to downplay it. Like, hey, yeah, it's unfortunate, but this can happen to anybody. Or I'm pretty much going to show you. But first, I'm going to give you an example just to build upon what Afro-Think Tank said. Because, again, if you follow my channel, they had a similar situation. Not exactly, but a very similar situation that it did involve a neighbor. It did involve a black people in close proximity with these Fox News viewing white supremacists don't want nothing to do with black people, thinking black people are malicious troublemakers and all this other things. Let me just recap it. Now these are, again, Republicans, again, building on what Afro-Think Tank said. While you just being black, minding your business, you have to really, really be careful around these people, because when they look at you, they see an enemy. They don't see a black person, a black boy. And this right here, if you remember this, let's play this real quick.
It'd be a great idea to call the cops on his neighbor, a 9-year-old black girl, for doing her part in killing a local invasive species. Now, here's what happened. On the morning of October 26th.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off, but my daughter is 9. My daughter is 9, right? And I don't live too far away from where this incident took place. My daughter is 9.
Second, in Caldwell, New Jersey, 4th grader Bobby Wilson, 4th grader, just remember, 4th grader, blows my mind, had found a recipe for an environmentally safe lanternfly spray on TikTok and wanted to try it out on the nearby trees she saw that were infested. So let's just pause for a second. Jersey, 4th grader Bobby Wilson, 4th grader, just remember, 4th grader, blows my mind, had found a recipe for an environmental.
Remember, this guy is a Republican. He serves a Republican on the board where he is. Remember, Republican. It's a Republican doing this.
Safe lanternfly spray on TikTok and wanted to try it out on the nearby trees she saw that were infested. So let's just pause for a second. The lanternfly is absolutely an invasive species. It comes from China, likely through trade. It made its way here to the United States, and it is destroying crops, it's destroying trees, and there is this very real effort to kill them. And so this 9-year-old was doing her part, like super sweet. Now, she'd been learning about the invasive species in class, her family said, and wrote a paper on their environmental impact. The influx of spotted lanternflies across the Northeast has become a viral topic, with many homemade solutions and government recommended methods to help stop the spread of the insects, including the See It, Squish It campaign. While Wilson was testing the solution, on her street, a 71-year-old neighbor by the name of Gordon Lawshe, who reportedly served as the co-head and treasurer of the Caldwell Republican Committee until last year, spotted the little girl and thought, let me call the police on her. It's a great idea. Now, Bobby's mom, Monique Joseph, described Lawshe's reaction to her daughter at a local board meeting last week. Let's take a look at that.
The morning of October 22nd, our neighbor called the police, identified himself as Gordon Lawshe, and reported there's a little black woman walking, spraying stuff on the sidewalks and trees. I don't know what the hell she's doing. It scares me though. And included that she was wearing a hoodie. It is sickening and scary to hear my neighbor use triggering words that have resulted in the death of too many Black and brown children and adults at the hand of the police.
Now, these Republican goons want you to be all up under these white Republicans that think this. Yeah, so that was just basically my commentary right there. So I'm just giving you all that for clarity, right? So we see that happen, unfortunately, and we see where it almost could have happened here if this Republican was a little bit more unhinged, right? So it's not a figment of your imagination. This is why he had to go pivot to something that Afro-Think Tank was not even talking about. And this is what all Black Republicans do, especially the white racist ones, or they try to downplay it, or they try to change the narrative. This is completely disgusting. This is why I'm saying he is not pro-Black. This is fake Pan-African. He's not pro-Black in that regard. He may, hey, I have no problem, investing in Africa and living in Africa, but you're not pro-Black. You're not. You're no different than the Chinaman or the Arab. You know what I'm saying? That's, hey, it's nice there. The weather's nice there. There's investment opportunities there and stuff like that. I have no real ill will towards them, right? But it's between me and my identity or what I identify and my political affiliation, as far as like my customs and who I am and what I am. I'm not going to compromise that. That's who Brandon is. He's not going to compromise who he is, who he is at the core, which is a white American conservative. MAGA, make America great again. That is his core. So he can't be a Pan-Africanist. He could just be an individual that, hey, look, I see potential in that in Africa, and I want to invest in Africa. I don't mind living in Africa or whatever, stuff like that. Hey, fine, that's cool. But you know what I'm saying? I look at him as just a nice Arab Chinese guy who just wants a piece of the pie when it comes to Africa. That's all. Hey, look, wish no ill will in everybody. I'm just trying to get mines from the, coming in on the ground. That's it. You know what I'm saying? If other people want to do it, fine. So I don't see him as a direct, intimate threat to Africans and Black people. But what he's doing as saying he's a Pan-African, I would say, is pretty much a psyop and a mind fuck. Because again, he does not wear that ideology on his sleeve when it comes to promoting himself or his channel. Because if he did, people are like, oh, this is some bullshit. this dude, I just don't know what he's doing or what he's talking about or whatever. So what I also find out, so let's go let our brother Afro Think Tank finish his thought. I just want to bring that up to you guys so you can see that him and I know what we're talking about. It's not a bunch of trash, a bunch of garbage. We have instances. We have, unfortunately, events, fatalities that fit that narrative. And when someone says, well, you know what, that's not true, the other side does it. So I always say, show me the equivalent to what show me the equivalent of what Democrats is doing that Republicans do. If Democrats are just as overtly racist and racist as Democrats, what is the equivalent to this? To the little girl I was telling you about, where he's going to call the cops on a 9-year-old girl saying she's a hoodie and she's suspicious, or the same thing with the little boy, the 16-year-old boy ringing the doorbells saying, hey, look, got the wrong doorbell. You obviously that's a child, right? Show me a Democrat, a hardcore Democrat. I was looking at MSNBC and CNN, and they were feeding all these all these negative images about Black people. Again, we know it's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? But again, where's the equivalent to that if the Republicans is just as overtly racist? So let's continue and see. And I'm gonna let Afro-Think Tank, probably don't know me from a can of paint or anything like that, but I'm gonna say, as my brother, as my brother, I'm going to let him finish due to his real brother that he knows firsthand and won't give him the benefit of the doubt and pretty much just call him stupid and stuff like that because he is just basically telling the truth about Brandon's political affiliation. I'm not going to do that. I agree with Afro-Think Tank. None of these political parties are going to work for Black people as a whole because they have a white American agenda. You try to get in where you fit in, and then you have to look after yourself and your well-being. So I'm going to let him finish.
So for Black people to move from the liberal white power, supremacy power who wants to steal our money, at least we're still alive though. See, that's the thing. We're still alive. They don't want to kill us because they need us alive so they can take our money. Conservatives don't give a fuck about us being alive. They want us dead because we are an existential threat to white people and their population, white people and their power. Because they feel like when we take power, which is inevitable, we're going to do to them what they did to us. So,
and anyone that studies history or anything like that, or studies psychology, that is very true. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to do with race. So this particular case has to do with race. Anytime that when you have a powerful person or a group of people and they subjugate another group of people, and those people that are subjugated get power, those people that have power, like, oh my God, here it comes. It's basically called the reckoning, or the chickens coming home to roost, right? So just common sense tells you that could be a thing, you know.
I don't believe Black people in America should be trying to willy-nilly go to the conservative Republican Party as if they actually care about us. If anybody has ever paid attention to what conservative white people in America talk about, it's Black people are the threat. Woke literally means black. Come on, guys, wake up.
Thank you very much. And what does Brandon does all the time? When something bad's happened to Black people, not something probably not as bad as this, but to a slightly lesser degree, and I'm going to show you, he still try to put a parallel as this not being so bad. But to a lesser degree, him and all the conservatives that get on his platform, that they create this big, huge echo chamber. They always talk about how bad and backwards Black people are. Oh, and y'all niggas deserve what you get. And oh, because you're Black. Oh, because you don't know any better and stuff like that. So what do you expect? What do you expect? You know, so they do and say the same thing. So what Afro-Think Tank is saying is absolutely right. You listen to him, he takes on that same white supremacist talking point. It's like, oh, because this woke culture and woke liberal and woke progressivism and woke. Why? Because he's conservative. He likes it back in the days when the civil rights was not a thing and Black people were being terrorized in America. It's either when Black people were being terrorized. So during either, what do you mean by make America great again? So you're talking about slavery was great, and he admitted this. He admitted this, that before civil rights, we were a lot better off as a whole, not as individuals. Black people in America were better off before civil rights. This is what this, trying to be nice here because I'm taking someone's advice. So you see on the other, this sad excuse for a Black man, this person supposed to be a Pan-African, is saying again that white people subjugating us, terrorizing us, killing us, where we have no type of rights, where we can't vote, we can't speak up for ourselves. The only justice we had was mob justice, right? That is fine. But again, it's disgusting. But again, I'm not surprised that that's the narrative you have to fit, right? And who also fits that narrative? I'm going to pause it right here because, you know, I'm going to let him run a little bit, and I'm going to build upon what Afro-Think Tank is saying is actually real. People within the Republican Party, Black people within the Republican Party, fits this same narrative of what Afro-Think Tank is talking about.
I'm about Black people forming their own party or taking over maybe the independent party, or probably better yet, really forming their own party, right? And then within that party, we can have our own conservative, progressive, and liberal wings within our own Black party.
Wow, beautiful. That's why every time people say, well, what's your solution? What's your solution? I say that same thing that he says, right? So if we were able, obviously it's money. If get our money together, get people together and stuff like that, and probably fund our own politicians and all black people and people who support black people and our endeavors, do that, right? And we go where the money is, like the LGBTQ community, and the Jewish community. You don't have to agree with them. You have to agree with their religion. You don't have to agree with their sexual preference or whatever the hell they're into right now. It's just that once they have money and influence, you could pretty much do whatever. You could talk for yourself, but we all have to be on one accord. So hold on, right? So I'm going to lay down the base of what a black Republican is. Now, what the black Republican is. Hold on a second. I'm gonna show you guys. And for some of you, you may be on some like, oh, Kofi, yeah, you already showed this again. But I have to show this again because I want it to be tattooed in your brain. And for some people who probably may not even know, who knows, right? But I want to keep showing this because these so-called pro-black conservative Pan-Africanists do not talk about these people, right? If they want to call me a Democrat and stuff like that, fine. They want to point out things that the Democrats do on the far left. I'm like, okay, that's disgusting. I don't agree with that. But guess what? I'm honest enough to bring it up, to talk about it, to disown it, right? Rather than ignore that it's not there or pivot to something else. Well, what about January 6th? Okay, I'm not talking about January 6th right now, but we get that to it. But what about the topic at hand that we're talking about? I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's show a very proud Republican, old school Republican. Right now, I think I'm going to save that for later. Right, where is he? Hold on, guys, for a second. I had him up. You know what? I'm going to go, no, see. Hold on. What entire nations happened to her?
No, I've often said that.
So who we have here is Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson. If y'all don't know who he is a die-hard conservative. You swear to God it's a white man in blackface or black skin, right? Any despicable thing that you ever heard a white supremacist say, Jesse Lee Peterson doubles down on it. And again, he's a pastor, and come to find out he's also bisexual or strictly gay because it came out already. So that's a whole other story there. But you know how usually this is. Maybe he was fighting demons and shit like that. So that's probably why he became a conservative. Who knows? But Jesse Lee Peterson, and I'm gonna show you him more currently. This was years ago, but I'm gonna show you Jesse Lee Peterson currently. Nothing has changed, but just to give you a base.
Thank God for slavery because, had not, then the blacks who were here would have been stuck in Africa. And you see how bad Africa, everybody and mama trying to get out of Africa and come to America. And so God has a way of looking out for folks, and he made it possible by way of slavery to get black folks into this country. But 100% American. Proud of it. I thank God that he saw fit for me to get here. Never mind that, we were sold. I mean, I guess my ancestors way back.
He said, never mind if we were sold. You hear this? Never mind. Doesn't matter. Just live in the moment. Be happy you're in America. And a white man let you stay here, bestow his mercy upon you.
Beyond the wind was sold by Arabs and blacks to white folks and got us here. The white man came and brought us to the greatest country in the world. The ride over was pretty tough, but it's like riding on a crowded airplane and when you're not in first class. It's a tough ride. but you're happy when you get to your destination. And so the ride was tough over here. The pain for freedom was tough, because in life, if you want to gain something, you got to lose something. No pain, no gain. So it was a...
Okay, I have to stop. I was getting nauseous. I couldn't take it no more. So that's one of the things that Afro-Think Tank is talking about. But I'm going to let him finish, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more of what he's talking about, because I can at least be that gracious and let him finish. So, boom, boom. One right here.
So we can have liberal policies and conservative and progressive policies that's conducive to African and Black people. That's what I believe in. Okay, so let's clear that up. I do not have beef with my boy Pan-African Strikes Back, but because I made a video about Pan-African conservative, I expect my brother to make a response to defend his position.
Again, basically that's what he's going to say, and his pretty much will come to an end. That's all basically going to say, and we all see that I showed you there. Brandon defended his position pretty poorly, obviously, because he is not for truth. He is for, no matter what, keeping the narrative of that Republican Party are innocent. They love Black people, or if they're racist, they're just as racist as the Democrats, even though we know all racist groups politically are affiliated with the right wing. So, with that said, I'm gonna share another video just to put the cherry on top here. And this video here, like I said before, you can hear a church mouse piss on cotton. All the conservatives, everyone. So you have, this is on my own page right here. So let me show you one of my videos that I did right here. So this is part 2. So modern golden age of conservative, talking about Kanye West, Jesse Lee Peterson, and Anton Daniels. Again, I told you Jesse Lee Peterson is going to come back up. Anton Daniels is another conservative. Again, their job is to just belittle, berate, just go with the white supremacist narrative that Black people are just inherently backwards. Anything that we may do, or one person may do, or a minority among us that may do something that's reprehensible, they're going to blow it up like, no, that's just the culture. So right here is on Dr. Phil, and they're just having a normal conversation about population control. And I think Dr. Phil is a dirty bastard for doing this. He's trying to act like he didn't know what was going on, but I'm pretty sure he knew who those people were. He probably planted them there to spice it up. It's basically making Black people look bad, but let me not talk about it when I can show you about it.
Kids, and you're only 22. It's true. We're not allowing people to not treat people like that all the time. And you can put an IUD in, a copper IUD is effective for 10 years. It's inert.
Have you ever walked in a grocery store and seen a lady with a bonnet on her head with 8 kids walking behind her? You think that she's being responsible? You think that she's really taking into consideration what she's supposed to do responsibly? You think that she's not on Section 8 housing?
Did you hear what this coon ass nigga said on a public forum, on a show? He ordered, these men, white men, are talking in general terms when it comes to people, as you heard. He automatically went to, and those people, remember the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Remember the bonnet on, Section 8 housing, all these are tropes. All these are stereotypical racist Black tropes. And I'm not really talking to the Republican goons, because to them, they think all black people are like that, so they would speak in general terms like their fellow coon right here, right? You hear what he's saying. Look at the white look at the white dude's face over here. Like, I don't know if he's saying like what or that's kind of trash. Like, I don't know. He's making a face, but this is what this nigga is saying. You listen to what he is saying. It says, Anton says, oh my gosh, underprivileged people should not have children. It just says black people shouldn't have children. Because everything he said doesn't have to do with American society or the global society as a whole. He specifically is talking about black Americans only. And then some Republicans wonder why. Again, he's doubling down on the black racial tropes of black people. He's talking about the lowest class, and we need to do something about that. No, because they all know, they understand those are just like Dave Chappelle. Those are the poor whites, right? Those are the poor whites. I'm going to speed it up to get to
whether it be the prisons that we build for them or the social services that we have to create for them, and they do not become more educated and do things differently. They breed more. That's what happens.
They breed more. He sound like you're talking about two dogs. Yo, I got this pit and this Rottweiler. Let's breed them together with it. Again, talking about prisons, the house them in. All these are he sounds like a conservative. He just sounds like your good old typical conservative. You know what? I'll take that back. He sounds like every politician in the late 80s and 90s. That's what he sounds like. You can say Joe Biden. I don't give a fuck. You sound like Joe Biden. Fine. Yeah, I agree. He sounds like Joe Biden. He sounds like the right wing. He sounds like all those segregationists. He sounds like David Duke. You know what I'm saying? Which is a right winger, which would be a part of the Ku Klux Klan and everything. He sounds like all of them. All of them. Right? If they didn't try to kill black people through putting drugs in our neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, which is a part of Reaganomics, putting drugs in our neighborhood to get rid of us with drug use, it has to do with, I'm gonna let this minstrel continue.
I disagree with all this crap that I hear. I grew up with six brothers and seven sisters at a time when, I grew up on a plantation in Alabama, and we.
Jesse Lee Peterson. So all this happened, guys, just a couple months ago.
We grew up in a little house, bathroom outside. My family.
Before I play this, right, I'm gonna play. This is where I'm gonna pretty much play the video that I showed you earlier. You guys already seen that, so I'm just gonna bring it back to where I left off.
To do that, and in America, we were not allowed all these illegal aliens and refugees to come into our country. So our government were not taking care of folks from other parts of the world.
The United States government has always facilitated in the immigration process, right? From even before the civil rights era, where they pretty much revamped every government system as far as immigration is concerned. They had Irish coming in, they had Italians coming in, they had all sorts of white people coming in. So, but he doesn't have a problem with that, and I'm pretty sure he's not being in America.
World and the families in America, we took care of ourselves.
I think you pretty much.
You see her face. The crowd was making me laugh because it's like, is he really saying what he's saying? It's like, are you for real? Damn, my bad, guys. I was trying to go to the part where he says we need to have more white babies, right? But y'all can go to that video or just check that video out anywhere on my channel or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make a point here, right? So when all that was happening, remember those are 2 black conservatives. That's why Dr. Phil is a dirty bastard for doing that. 2 conservatives pretty much saying, reinforcing those same tropes. So when you got that old white guy that shot that black kid or whatever, looking at Fox News, and especially if but a black person is saying that his own people's messed up. What type of person would do that? These have to be upstanding. It's basically just confirmation bias and just reinforcing on white supremacist negative stereotypes. So and that's what the dangerous part is. So everything that Afro-Think Tank was saying was right. He was 100% right about the Democrats, right? Even though, you know, I don't know if he misspoke or he wasn't aware that, look, that both parties take bribes, they're financial bribes, and they're legal. It's just that it will be illegal on the books when they was like, well, I can't take all this money because I'm really going to look like a heel if I want to speak against this particular organization or group. So they may take something under the table. But campaign bribes are legal. So again, they're supposed to serve us, the people. So fine, we're going to take campaign donations, aka bribes. At least we want to know who is funding you and your campaign and your seat. You know what I'm saying? That's all, right? Yeah, no, I'm not high. Yeah, Anton will definitely be on that. Yeah, I never followed him, man. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like when I first started hearing about him, like the bad came with, if there was good that came along with it. I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And the first time, one of the first people that said it was Brandon and some people, some other channels. So I'm like, okay. And then I was like, wait, let me see what this guy is about. Because, you know, Brandon likes him too fucking much. And I go, oh, that's why. They have the same ideology and outlook and despicable view of black people. So of course, of course black people are like that. Yeah. You know, and it's the thing that always gets me. They think that if you feel that about other black people, it's okay for other black people. I mean, how would they feel if other black people look at them with that same disgust, that preconceived notion that they're nothing and they're worth nothing, that they're backwards and they're degenerate? You know what I'm saying? I always wonder that. I mean, the self-loathing is just sad, but yeah, that is true. No, I'm not high. That is true. Yeah, he is a gay predator. He was trying to rape people and all the other stuff, but you know, it's okay because he's a Republican. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot what the senator was. You know, he was like, "Oh, I hate gay people and all this other stuff." You know what I'm saying? Look, only people who I hate are child molesters, murderers, and rapists. Everybody else, I think they'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, so for this Republican senator to say that, but then he kind of changed his tune when he found out like his daughter or his son was gay. Well, you know what? Well, hold on now. Let's talk this over. Then there's nuance and all these other things. But yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson is a flaming Republican. Right. So where I'm at here. So basically, again, what I'm saying, Afro-Think Tank was was correct, right? And what he was saying. Where am I? So yeah, did that. So basically, what Brandon was doing, which I found to be despicable. So here he was talking about you know, what happened with the kid and stuff like that and how it's inexcusable. But you know what? Let's not go here yet. I'm going to show you all about Clarence Thomas. So if anyone know about the whole Clarence Thomas situation, now that I did speak about, you know, legal campaign bribes and things like that, you can get that from corporations. This is not a problem. It's not against any law. All they ask you to do is like, hey, look, you're going to get money from a private corporation or anything like that. Just let us know, you know, so you could be transparent. So let's say like the NRA. The NRA gives money, a lot of money to right wingers, some Democrats, but mostly the right wing. Okay, fine. So when it's time for gun control, and your state governor or congressman or whatever has influence on it, at least you can look back and be on some like, oh, okay, he's in cahoots with the NRA. So most likely this guy is gonna really, not vote, not have a lot of red tape when it comes to owning a gun and buying a gun. He's gonna probably do the best he can to make guns extremely accessible. Any kind of gun. I ain't talking about your pea shooters. I'm not talking about the guns they were talking about in the Constitution. I'm not talking about a musket. You know what I'm saying? Because all they had was musket, and automatic weapons didn't exist then. I'm not talking about putting gunpowder in there and a couple pellets and you shove it. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about any gun that they were gonna approve was gonna be semi-automatics, but probably fully automatics, right? Bump stocks, cop killers, hollow point bullets. They were approving all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So at least if you as the voter can be on something like, oh wow, fine, I got guns. I like guns. I like to collect guns, but all right, let's have more restrictions. Or wow, why do I need hollow point bullets? You know what I'm saying? Or why do I need cop killer bullets? Why do I need bump stock? When okay, if I have like a gun that's not a semi-automatic or a fully automatic, no, I'm gonna get bump stocks for it. Try to find all these loopholes, right? So we need to know what that is, right? So right here, just to keep you guys up to date, I'm not gonna play the whole video. I'm gonna give you a gist of pretty much what is going on, because we're gonna go back to the liar, Brandon, again, and he's gonna tell you half truth or straight up lies.
Conservative, like right-wing mega donor had written a check for $1,000 to a Supreme Court justice, just given him $1,000. You'd probably be worried that might represent a bribe. What if you found out he'd handed over $133,000? Well, we've got something kind of like that on our hands with conservative billionaire donor Harlan Crow, who it was just revealed by follow-up research by ProPublica to their amazing revelation of this long-standing relationship between Clarence Thomas and Harlan Crow, where he had been taking him around the world on these amazing vacations. Turns out now that back in 2014, Harlan Crow bought 3 properties belonging to Clarence Thomas and his family that Thomas just forgot to ever mention in the federal disclosure forms that one might have expected. Certainly the law expected. So this marks the first.
Again, no one's saying he cannot take those quote unquote vacations and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars possibly in these things, but you got to put it down. Why? Because it's the law.
Known instance of money directly flowing from the donor to Clarence Thomas. I mean, you've had something like that in the past, not just with the trips, but with the incredibly lavish gifts. But for some reason, this is worse. Crow apparently bought 3 properties. Together, they cost $133,363 from their 3 co-owners, which include Clarence Thomas, his mother, and the family of Thomas's late brother. This is according to a state tax document and a deed dated October 15th, 2014. Crow now owned the house where the justice's elderly mother was living. And what's interesting is that Thomas did not disclose the sale, which is apparently unlawful. But in response to this, he also doesn't have anything to say. Just a man of few words when it comes to responding to this sort of journalism, as well as complying with his legal requirements. But while he didn't have much to say, Harlan Crow actually did. He said, "My intention is to one day create a public museum at the Thomas House, dedicated to telling the story of our nation's second Black Supreme Court justice. I approached the Thomas family about my desire to maintain this historic site so future generations could learn about the inspiring life of one of our greatest Americans."
You hear this shit? He played kudos to him. He played the race card. A white guy played the race card in a complimentary way. A disrespectful one, but understand with the context. If you're gonna say something like, He's probably like, damn nigga, you ain't saying nothing after all that money I gave you. So he's like, okay, so he had to come up with his whole thing and a little Nancy Pelosi clap. You know, okay, maybe some people are stupid enough to buy that, you know, but we'll see.
Now, Crow's statement did not address why he also bought 2 vacant lots from Thomas down the street that did not represent a historic place that he grew up as a young tyke. It was just property that you could buy and thus give a bunch of money to the other guy. He didn't talk about that. He did write that the other lots were later sold to a vetted builder who was committed to improving the quality of the neighborhood and preserving its historical integrity. Of course, he built different buildings on it, so it's not preserving history, it's new development, but come up with whatever facade you're going to. Now, I also want you to bear in mind that that $133,000, while it might not seem like a lot of money in some real estate markets right now, it does potentially represent a massive overpayment for that particular property. Crow bought several other properties on that same street, paid significantly less than the one with his deal with the Thomases. In 2013, just the prior year, he bought a pair of properties on the same block, a vacant lot and a small house, for a total of $40,000.
Now, for those of you saying, "Oh, it's TYT," keep up. Keep up. You're slow. If it's a TYT breaking news story, right here, you see my cursor. It will say TYT breaking news story. Most of the stories that they get are from other media outlets. It could be CNN. It could be BuzzFeed. Obviously, they'll vet the story to make sure the story is credible, political, whatever, right? So if you're looking at TYT, and they're saying a story and you don't agree with the story, you can't blame TYT for reporting it. Afterwards, it's their own critique and you can disagree with them, but the story at hand, the meat and potatoes, is from other media outlets.
So again, look, houses can vary, but 2 properties, including a house, $40,000. Clarence Thomas's house, $133,000, seems pretty suspicious. And it actually gets even more suspicious, but I want to give both of you a chance to weigh in.
So, John, you're right to begin the story with, did they pay more than?
Yeah, so basically what they're saying, we all know Clarence Thomas deal is, he came in on affirmative action, yada, 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 yada. And then automatically was against affirmative action when he got to a level of prestige being a Supreme Court justice. So basically, he pretty much burned the bridge that got him to where he is, right? So, yeah, I remember Charlton Heston, saying, yeah, I remember it from my cold dead hands, so whatever, he's dead. So I hope someone did grab that gun out of his cold, bony ass hands. Anyway, yeah, so that is what Brandon said. So I'm only showing you guys these things because when he lies, right? Because I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He is going to lie. And when he lies, y'all can't say that I'm, doing a bait and switch. No, he didn't say that. No. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. So right here, so we're going to pick up where we left off with the other thing, because with the other, right here. Hold on a sec. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So right here, we'll let him talk and whatever. So we had the whole Clarence Thomas debacle. We know what's going on with Clarence Thomas and everything, right? And I'm just going to let him, and we know what's going on with Ralph Yarl. Okay.
When you reduce everything, you try to reduce everything down to race. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying stuff ain't racially motivated now. That's a fact. Stuff do be racially.
Oh, my bad, y'all. This is what I was supposed to do. My bad, y'all. I showed this video a little bit too early. I have this one real quick where he's making a comment about to give him. He's going to tell you what's racist, and we all know he doesn't know what's racist because when Afro-Think Tank said, well, when the brother guy called up and he says, "Oh, the Democrats racist," he think that LGBTQ saying that a man's a woman, a woman's a man, and men being in sports, he said that's racist. When we know that's fucking retarded. No one is only doing that to the black community. The far left, the LGBTQ nutbags are doing this to everybody. So he doesn't know what racism is. Well, he does, but he has to pretend that he doesn't because when you're talking about Republicans and stuff like that being racist, which is a very sad job on his part, he brought this up, saying that's racism, which was obviously we know is not. So hold on, let me share my screen right here. Da-da-da-da-da. No, not you. Oh, where are you, lady? Oh, my bad, y'all. It is here. Yes, it is here. So I'm gonna hold on a second. Is this right here? Where is it? Hold on a second. Take care of this real quick. Hold on, I gotta share my screen again. Share the screen again. On the road again. I can't wait to get back on the road again. Okay. No, it's not the one. That is not the one, bro. What you doing, bro? That is not the one, bro. There we go. All right.
Because it seems now that he's been writing this into the doctrine seemingly for years and years.
Of selective liberal.
So I'm going to point him out where he's telling more lies. So we're going to start off with this lie.
Welcome to the Pan-African.
Come on, bro. Hold on a second.
Clarence Thomas is back in the news. No, not for having his life threatened by Antifa terrorists.
Antifa did not threaten his life, and Antifa is not terrorists. Can you please find out where that is? So that's the first lie, and this is what conservatives are doing because they're irresponsible monsters and hypocrites when they do clear terrorism and anarchy in the nation. Any little thing to take their attention off of what they're doing, and it's not them not being accountable. They're gonna draw up these false conclusions and slander.
Not for overturning Roe v. Wade, but this time for being the victim of selective liberal outrage concerning a real estate purchase that he failed to report over a decade ago.
So it's like how should I put it? A backhanded admission. So it's liberal. So only liberals. So liberals made up the rule, or is it a rule? I don't understand of a liberal rule and a Republican rule, or Republican law and a Democratic law. All understand, this is the law. This is a law that everyone has to abide by. So he's doing a very poor job at cleaning up his misdealings. We all heard it on the newscast that I just showed you. For 10 years, vacations, houses, it's pretty much bribery, basically saying I'm going to pay for this, but it's not going to be for that. And you can see, like, this is like an FBA thing, like Clarence Thomas is, and what's going on is pretty much like Tariq Nasheed or the white billionaire. Well, no. I bought this property for Clarence Thomas to celebrate the first Coon Supreme Justice, and I want to make it like a historical site, but when actually, no, that's not what you did. You did that to buy other property. Now you see how Brandon could see a scam when it's not political. Everyone sees it as clear as day, but he has to like try to clean it up and say, well, guys, don't believe your lying eyes or ears. It's not as bad as it seems. And it's the Democrats' fault for upholding a law. It's not Clarence Thomas's fault for breaking the law, a law that he knew. He only just runs the highest court in the highest land and should know that, and does know that, but let's not worry about that. Look the other way.
The same liberals who absolutely refuse to hold Hunter Biden and Joe Biden accountable for their treasonous dealings or alleged treasonous dealings with countries like China.
Nah, Negro, it's not alleged. So let's go again. They can't let go of the Hunter Biden thing again. Hunter Biden and the laptop. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just going to show you guys an article real quick that has been put to rest. That is pretty much done. They even had, like, right now, they even had a committee right now where you have Republicans, they're having a probe to investigate Hunter Biden. This is for like about a year or so now, and they came up with nothing, right? But that's not the point here I'm trying to draw. The point is, where are we right now? That this is something that's all said and done. He's just lying, or he's in an echo chamber where you don't get new information, that you're just going to pretty much repeat the same nonsense and not even know what's going on, right? So hold on right here. Okay, right here. So let's read this article right here. Now, this is very eye-catching. Hunter Biden controversy explained. And right here, they're going to ooh, ah, and gasp and everything. But it's media. They got to get things to read your attention. But you have to read the article, right? Hunter Biden controversy explains. Explain it, but you click the video, they hooting and hollering like, got you dead to rights. So he said Hunter Biden's role in Burisma. He served on the board, Ukraine, yada, yada. We all know that, 2019. As Republican-led Senate committee concluded, this work was mostly pose a possible conflict of interest. If anything, most critically, the committees made no findings that the candidate Joe Biden did anything wrong with it. Now, this is the Hill. This is the Hill. This is not Breitbart. It's not Stormfront. This is not LBGTQ Nation or anything like that. It ain't Antifa.com. This is the Hill, right? Then candidate Joe Biden did anything wrong when it came to pursuing Ukraine to fire its top prosecutor, Shulkin. Now remember, well, it's going to tell you here, but Republicans, they don't do no wrong. Hear no evil, see no evil. While he was vice president, the right-wing suggestion that the move was to protect his son rather than to legitimately push back on corruption in the Ukraine government has been proven untrue. If there were criminal activity in play, the machinery behind the big lie would have made it known by now, including Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who got disbarred for lying about campaign fraud, and stuff like that when they were trying to rig the election and get more votes. We all should know that, right? Rudy Giuliani, who was dispatched to Europe to pursue Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky to announce and investigate Hunter Biden. Now, remember that. That's what I was going to try to say. Rudy Giuliani went to a foreign nation, right, to get involved in our political process, to use as a political weapon towards our election. That is illegal, right? But it's like the 8th, 9th time Trump was getting away with it, so you can't stop me now, right? Who dispatched to Europe to pursue Zelensky to announce an investigation into Hunter Biden, prompting Trump's first impeachment. Impeachment. So when Republicans say that didn't happen, then you could impeach anything and you could impeach everything. These are a bunch of weak ass. Trying to be nice. These are a bunch of weak, disingenuous, dishonest men who's only concerned about being right, not the truth, just being right and cheering on for Team Republican. Thus, Burisma connection probably won't produce criminal charges against Hunter Biden going forward. Right? You can read the rest of this right now. Basically, they can't give up. So again, he's still in the echo chamber of Hunter Biden laptop. They won't even do nothing about that. He's late. He's late now. When was this article was? 4/11. But most of this you can see it goes that far back, right? It goes that far back when we know that all the way in 2019 they were doing all this investigation. But anyway, so that's go with that. So let's go back to him so he could tell more lies. I'm telling you, I'm just gonna look. For those of you here with me, that's fine, that's cool. But I want to have a record of all of this. I really want to do other things, but I really want to finish this, and I didn't get to finish it the last time. And I really want to go on to other things, but I have to stomp this out. I gotta stomp this out. So like this dude has no credibility and he's not honest, and I want that to be known. I want everyone when we start talking politics, the people to like take it with less than a grain of salt, because he's totally dishonest. Right? So let's get back.
Russia and Iran. The liberals who refuse to hold Hillary Clinton accountable for the deleted emails.
Again, he lied again. He says for the same liberals that hold Hillary Clinton accountable for the deleted emails. That trial already happened. There was an investigation that already happened. Investigation already happened. You know me, I'm Mr. Show and Prove, because this is easy. This is easy layups. That's why I guarantee you, when I come up there, they don't like me because they know that I know that they're lying, and that's why I'm saying they talk about how about honesty, and that's why black people don't trust other black people because they're lying and stuff like that. He is lying. All he does is lie when it comes to politics. Just in when it comes to black people, or just in general, you are not to be trusted. You are not to be trusted. He is the same thing that he tells you, that he warns you guys about. Dishonesty. Black people trying to take advantage of you. He's doing the same exact thing. So anyway, let's show and prove. So here's the first article. Hillary Clinton cleared of mishandling classified information after 3-year private email probe. Trump so far silent. What's the date on this? It was in look how long ago this was. 2019. 2019 Newsweek. This is old. He's repeating something that is way over 3 years old. Repeating something that's already been proven to be not true. But they got to keep telling themselves this. And if you're in an echo chamber, or you around the same people that say the same thing over and over and over again, and you're too slow and you're too docile and you got no spine and you don't have the particular fortitude to say, you know what, let me find this out on myself to see if it's true, besides these people who I agree with. right? Sword sharpens sword, right? He's not able to do that. And you guys can read the article on that. And you know what? Oh, Kofi, that's just Newsweek or whatever. Okay. You do I'll do a little bit more heavy lifting for you, some more a little bit. Right? Let me just give you pretty much from the horse's mouth, because I said there was an investigation, right? So let's see how the investigation panned out. All right, so what we have right here, this is Time Magazine. Again, this ain't CNN, MSNBC, or whatever, but I don't play that game, because if Fox News will show something that's the truth, they show something that's the truth. And this is a recording. This is not like an article. This is an actual recording of what happened. So I didn't care if it was on Fox News or not. So let's play it.
Find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues, although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing.
Again, I'm gonna let it play, but Brandon said it was not an investigation. The liberal left and and no one didn't want. Again, he's a deep state fool, right? He's these conservatives. Well, we love the cops. You want the cops, as long as the cops is killing black people and mistreating Hispanics and stuff like that. But January 6th, the cops aren't this. The cops aren't that. The cops are horrible and we hate cops now. Again, I don't even have to play it, but I'm going to play it anyway, because he said it was not an investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails.
The handling of classified information. There is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. In looking back at our investigations into the mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. All the cases prosecuted involved some combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information, or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct, or indications of disloyalty to the United States, or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see those things here. To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that's not what we're deciding now. As a result, although the Department of Justice makes final decisions on matters like this, we are expressing to Justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case.
And there you have it, right? I showed and proved. Brandon's lying again, as always, right? So I'm pretty sure I shot down his credibility and everything. So, and he also mentioned, guys, real quick, about Clarence Thomas, and he took down Roe v. Wade, but whatever. I'm going to get to the part where he's going to put a parallel of what's happening to Clarence Thomas and what happened to Ralph Yarl is pretty much the same thing. They pretty much going through the same struggle and all this bullshit. So hold on right here.
Overturning of Roe v. Wade, and you had terrorists at these judges' houses.
Another lie. He's talking about protests. Remember, protest is now terrorism, because right wing can't protest without bringing my goddamn gun, my amendment right, and I could kill people, kill niggers, cops when they're in my way. So yeah,
literally threatening to kill them. The black judge. All of a sudden, why I gotta be the black judge? All of a sudden, but and I'm not even trying to play the race card.
You just played it, bitch.
But we have damn near irrefutable proof that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden are involved in shady, treasonous business dealings with foreign countries.
And we just proved that also to be wrong. Again, this is all for you to look away from Trump fucking with Putin, Trump being a little bitch when it comes to Kim Jong-il, saying they wrote each other love letters and all this other shit. Duterte saying he wished he had his country like Duterte, the president in the Philippines, where he was just doing like executions. People weren't getting trials. Oh, I think you did this. You were a drug dealer or you selling drugs. Someone can say, no, it's not me. It's, let's say they do a drug raid. Like, it's not me. My son lives here. That's not me. No, all you do drugs and they just kill you right there on the spot. Trump loves shit like that. He's like, I wish America was like, you know, America was like the Philippines. I like how Duterte is doing it.
We have almost irrefutable proof that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and we know the reality is they're probably just trying to let
disclose things, right? And that if you come after me for years and years and kind of secretly living the same ethos,
literally getting money from this billionaire while he's like, disclosure is a bad thing. No one should have to disclose things.
Right. And that if you come after me for failing to disclose, you're a bully, yes. Right? I mean, we're living the perfect feedback loop where he gets to say, look at these people harassing me. It must be that disclosure is bad.
But there are other conservative justices that don't necessarily feel the same way as Thomas on the issue of disclosure.
Right. We quote Justice Scalia in our piece, who just lit into him in one of these cases and was like, this is just cowardice. There was a case where Justice Thomas was taking the position that you put your name on a referendum for a ballot initiative, in this case, anti-gay marriage ballot initiative, and that disclosure of your identity means that you're subject to reprisals and violent harassment. Justice Scalia just took him to the woodshed and was like, this is just cowardice.
Stand up for what you're doing. This is the home of the brave.
Wow. The hypocrisy is just, it's disgusting. Oh, stand up. You're a coward. Be a man. Disclose every penny you've gotten from anybody. Justice Scalia really just took him to the woodshed. I don't like that. That doesn't sit right. That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sit right with me. Justice Scalia took him to the woodshed. I really got to think on that, because this lady might just be a straight up racist, and she kind of looked like she's rooting against him. Yeah, there's other conservative judges.
Now he's saying to the woodshed is a racist term. I never heard that. Someone please enlighten me. When is taking someone to the woodshed? The woodshed is a racist term. Unless you're in the lumber industry, unless, I don't know, they had plantation lumber mills. I never heard that phrase, take them to the woodshed as the woodshed. No, that means taking, you're just going to chop the person up. That's just a general phrase that people use to cutting somebody down.
Just who don't agree with this. Well, if there's a hospitality clause where someone could give, just the timing of the whole thing. Internet. Thomas has been on the Supreme Court.
He doesn't even know anything about Clarence Thomas. Yes, he's the
oldest member of the court since Stephen Breyer's. Never held any of the.
So pretty much that's what it is. I'm not gonna waste my time scrolling like that. Basically, he's saying that her saying taking to the wood chipper is racist. He's just gonna go in on that because there's clearly no racism here. It's basically, you fucked yourself and you know what I'm saying, you thought you was getting away with it. And finally, what did I say before? The chickens have come home to roost, right? People now pointing out to you, especially you're going to put yourself in the spotlight and reverse Roe v. Wade and things like that, because Republicans want to control women's bodies. They say they care about kids, but they don't care about kids. They basically, it's not about abortion, it's about control. and the Christian way of things, because a lot of those red states, still have red states that don't allow rape under no exception, not for incest, not for rape. Some of them may make concessions, but like a good portion of them, they no exceptions. I think like Texas and Florida, and maybe like one of those Midwestern red states where they get it on with their sister and things like that. That's God's children, you know. You don't do that. That's God's children. It was intended for me to rape my sister or rape my auntie, and she just gets knocked up. She get knocked up. That's just God's way of doing things, you know. That's just what we do. You know, you gotta listen to the good book. The good book said, "Thou shalt not kill." So that's that's their mentality. That's their mentality. All right. So right here, finally, I'm going to show you where he's going to draw a disgusting equivalency to what happened to Ralph Yarl. So you just saw the whole Clarence Thomas thing, right? We all know what's going on with Ralph Yarl. We all know what's going on with the whole Clarence Thomas situation. Brandon lying. So we're gonna let him tell it. So right here.
Motivated. Like I just called out a couple of racists on my channel, right? I think the lady them trying to go after Clarence Thomas is racially motivated. But at the end of the day,
why how is that the same? How is that the same? How is a racist white man that's tried to kill a black child equivalent to a woman who writes a book or is commenting on the clear evidence of law breaking that Brandon admits to? He didn't say he didn't break the law. He just doesn't like the law. But Brandon said, "Hey, you know, he forgot." You know, this very nonchalant, just cavalier attitude about it. But he wants to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop, Joe Biden, something that's been solved a long time ago. He wants to lie about Antifa being terrorists and he wants, like, come on, y'all. I heard that. I was like, whoa, like, why are you bringing that up? Different than Tariq Nasheed, who's going to bring up about the white auntie Zaddy worship. Like, keep it consistent. Stay on the topic, right? But that's fine. But he's going to pair this racist white man to a woman who just that didn't kill anybody, it's not threatening anybody, who's just basically reporting on an event like dozens of other news channels. She's racist because she say, "Hey, Justice Scalia, pretty much take it to the wood chipper." I think at that any point, no matter what that woman said, he was not going to like her anyway. He wasn't going to like her anyway.
When you try to reduce stuff down to race, all you're doing is limiting yourself.
And he's not even taking his own advice, because he just limited that whole exchange with the MSNBC woman to a race. She didn't say anything about him being black, him being that. She just basically stated, here's a justice that clearly broke the law. The justice is the highest person in our land that makes our laws that we go by. That's a lifetime position that he has. And again, the right wing has a weird way of authority, how authority should act, depending if this is going to be authority on them or on other people. When it's authority on black people or non-white people, bend the knee, don't ask questions. They're the authority. They say jump, you say how high. They say speak, you say what language. But when it's them, it's whoa now. Whoa now. No. Fuck that Blue Lives Matter shit. Who you talking to? I'm an American. Donald Trump told me I could do this and do that. You're the deep state. Defund the police. Oh, now you want to defund the police. Right? Totally dishonest. So I found that to be very, very disturbing. Why would you even bring that up? He's no different than Tariq Nasheed. He's no different than Tariq Nasheed. He's just one of a FBA follower. And the Republican Party is whoever at that particular time talking part as the party is an embodiment of a Tariq Nasheed politically, and he's just an FBA minion, right? So what he's doing is not Pan-Africanism. What he's doing is Pan-Republicanism, and that's why Afro-Think Tank was right. It's an oxymoron, right? And he talks about let me stop sharing my screen. He's talking about abortion again and Remember, he's a Republican judge, so he agrees with the Republicans. Once it goes back to these backwards hillbilly states that they're going to take away women's rights, and it's going to go right back to the good old days, right? And about to close soon, but I'm going to show you again as a reference to show you, because he lies or he tells you the half truth. The reason why people are fighting against Roe v. Wade and people are protesting, not like right wingers protest. The reason why they are protesting is because shit like this happens. Because you got these states. It's one thing to say, okay, we're going to change the rule of when you're not going to have an abortion or when the term is or whatever. That's bad enough that you're deciding that, right? It's not like a baby that's full term or viable outside the womb, right? It's nothing like that, right? What makes it even worse than that is that, again, there's states saying abortion with no exceptions. And it's red states. Again, right here, right? 15 states with new or impending abortion limits have no exceptions for rape or incest. If anyone following my channel, I've been telling you this for like the longest time. This is all information that you guys could find out on several sources. So here's a graph of everything we have here, and you can see it's all the red states. So you have rape exceptions, and you got incest exceptions, right? Status of abortion ban, yada yada yada. Right? So Mississippi, rape, yes. Incest, no. That's so fucking ass backwards, and it's enforced. Alabama, rape, no. Incest, no. Kentucky, no. Missouri, no. Tennessee, no. Wyoming, yes. Louisiana, wow, no. Omaha, no. Well, this one says a waiting court decision, so look at the status, right? And these are red states. It gets a little better when you go to Georgia, but Florida, I didn't know Florida was like that, right? So you could check it out here. That's one source, right? Here's another. I'm gonna do the heavy lifting for the Republican goons that don't want to bother doing it, and that's fine. I like being right. So here you have again, right? This is a news outlet, like it look like a local news, and this is in South Kakalaki. All right, let's see what they got to say. Can't help the advertisement. Well, sorry.
Ray Magliozzi here. When you need parts, eBay Motors ensures a guaranteed fit. Hey, Dave.
Yep. Wait.
How are those new wipers?
Small.
The legality of abortion in South Carolina is under debate right now at the State House.
Under consideration is legislation that would almost totally ban the procedure in the state. The state Senate began its debate this morning considering legislation that would only allow an abortion under two circumstances. Those are when the mother's life or health are in jeopardy, and in cases of lethal fetal anomalies, when the baby could not survive on its own outside of the womb.
Now, as the bill stands right now, it would not allow abortions for victims of rape or incest. Democrats have refused to vote on any amendments, saying it's not their job to make better what they believe is a bad bill. So that's left.
And Brandon is against that. He is against that. He loves that Clarence Thomas overturned Roe v. Wade, and it goes back to these red states where they're gonna not want, if someone gets raped and unfortunate of rape and the woman gets pregnant, unfortunately, they don't want that. Oh no, you're gonna have that baby. You're gonna have a rape baby, even if it's a 9-year-old. I even spoke about that.
Left the disagreements today to Republicans, who hold a dominant majority.
That is what the killing of innocent people is. It's an attack on the image of God in creation. Why I feel so compelled to speak.
If you want to believe that God is wanting you to push a bill through with no exception that kills mothers and ruins the lives of children, lets mothers bring home babies to bury them, then I think you're miscommunicating with God. Or maybe you're just not communicating with him at all.
Again, the Senate is still in the midst of that debate right now at the State House.
The state's House of Representatives passed an abortion ban bill last week, which does include sexual assault exceptions. Legislation that passes the Senate would return back to House members for their consideration.
These people are monsters. These people are monsters. And then we have idiots like Pan-Africanism, Republicanism strikes back, wonder why, oh, you're not voting in your best interest. Like what? Like me and you must be two different people. So right here was published back then. So this is a little bit old, right? But I just want to give you a base. So if it changed for the better, good. If not, it's pretty much going to stay where it is right here, right? So this is why people are mad at Clarence Thomas, and probably why he put a spotlight on himself so people just go digging some dirt. Like, look, I grew up with a black parent and stuff like that. All parents and all children tell their children to walk straight, but if you're black in America, your parents give you the talk, right? And my mother gave me that talk. It's like, hey, look, it's bad. I shouldn't say bad enough, but I stand out. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'4", so in high school had been probably like 6'2" or whatever. So I'm a size of a grown man, right? And stuff like that. So everything you do, make sure you walk right. You do everything that you're supposed to do. Because when you're black, there's already a strike against you because they think you're up to no good when you're just doing everything right. So make sure you walk right. Make sure you move right. And Clarence Thomas, I mean, he must have got comfortable, got his white wife. And he a Supreme Court justice. He burned down that bridge. Oh, I forgot to show you guys that about burning bridges. Brandon don't like people burning bridges down and shit like that. But Clarence Thomas burned the bridge down, right? He burned the bridge down. When it comes to opportunities that helped him, he burned those bridges down. But him knowing, he should know, like, wow, I'm a black man. I'm a Supreme Court justice. Okay, fine. I'm not popular, but you know what? I'm principled. This is what I believe in. And I'm going to make sure as the highest court in the land that I'm going to do the right thing. And he did not do that. So you're going to suffer for that. But no, he should get, according to Brandon, he should get a jail out of free card for that. So that is what Republicans are about. Right? So that's pretty much what I wanted to say in my in this part 2 right here of it, because I don't know, my internet, my internet, I don't know, was acting weird. My StreamYard was acting crazy, was acting funny, right? So I kind of had to put it at a close, and the fan was needed me, so I had to go. But basically, that's it. You know, I pretty much proved my point. I think I have over and over and over again that Brandon is pretty much just a liar or ignorant or probably a little of both. But at the end of the day, I don't think he needs to be talking about politics at all because he has no credibility. He's biased at all. He's completely biased, you know, and that's fine. If you say, hey, look, I'm a Republican, I'm this, that, and these are my values, fine, say that so people know where you come from. Don't say, hey, I just so happen to be Republican, but look, I'm fair. He has not displayed that. Every time I engage with him or Republicans, and I'm going to brag, I always get a W with them. Only thing they may put me on to something that I may not know. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And as I researched it, I was okay, that's mostly true. I got no problem giving them credit, where it's due, because to me, there's no winning side, Republicans or Democrat. You're not going to get a complete W with either one. So I'm not as defensive, I'm not going to be biased. They have a bias. So I could be completely honest. So that's my advantage. You know what I'm saying? That's how I always win, because I don't have to stretch the truth or skew a story in order for my team to win. Right here, real quick. Right here is a USA article. It says girls need to know about their periods. Now Florida Republicans want to ban that too. Like they were banning contraceptives. Like you guys looked this up too. They were banning contraceptives. They were banning condoms and just things just for safe sex. Because their whole thing is, no, you're gonna have the kid regardless. If we have sex is made for procreation. And if you're having sex, you should have the kid, because they have a Bible-based mentality. Even Brandon be reading out of the Bible and shit like that. If you guys know it, I'm agnostic or an atheist or whatever, right? If I'm in Africa and around African people, it's different. Then we talk about Yoruba people, Orishas, Netters, and so on and so forth, right? But here in the in America, they won't even accept that. So I would be an atheist or a heathen or a pagan, and I'm perfectly fine with that. When the establishment doesn't like who you are and what you are, what you go by, that's when you know you win it. When white people and white supremacists kind of agree with you, that's when you kind of like gotta like reassess your situation. But right here, just for an example, guys. But anyway, I'm gonna close it right here at an end. I went a little bit longer than I expected it to. Thank you all for looking and watching with me. I just really wanted to knock this out. I'm tired as hell, but I really, really wanted to get this in for those people who wanted to pretty much see the rest of everything, So I hope I was able to come through and provide what you expected above and beyond. I hope. I'll try to put this together. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. I don't ask for super chats. I don't ask for cash apps. I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make a buck off of this. My whole thing is just basically trying to expose the truth, and people trying to say that they love Black people and therefore the better interests of Black people, and seeing a lot of people getting duped, just like FBA. You know what I'm saying? They may be under the aspect of Tariq Nasheed loves people. Loves to use out for Black people, but obviously not. His actions says different. Same thing with Brandon. He may say, hey, he loved Black people, and maybe he does, but when it comes to politics, you please second guess him and find out for yourself, because he is no different than Tariq Nasheed when it comes to politics, right? He'll lie just like Tariq Nasheed. He would enable bad behavior, scamming, everything Republican Party scam, Donald Trump scams, everything. And and that's his Tariq Nasheed. You know what I'm saying? So Brandon is like Ben Yosef and Donald Trump is like Tariq Nasheed. You know what I'm saying? So if for those who it is, any FBA goon, you know what I'm saying, no matter what Tariq says. But anyway, guys, like I said, please remember to like, share, subscribe. Just do that to get the message out if you agree with it. If you disagree with it, that's also fine. Put the comment in the comment section, and peace, and everybody be good, and thanks for watching.